Serious, what's the creepiest, scariest thing you've seen but no one believes you? I saw a panther-sized black cat darting out of a water retention, artificial forest near a school in the desert. Logically, it shouldn't be able to survive there, but holy shit, I saw it. Animal control wouldn't let that exist. There isn't really food enough for it. And the summers get dangerously hot if you've got black fur. Must have been 4 to 5 feet long. It doesn't make sense, but I 100% saw it, and so did the friend I was with. Not quite sure how young I was at the time, but it was probably between 5 to 8. I was in my babysitter bed at the time in her trailer park. It was 3 a.m. I had woken up because I had to pee. When I woke up, I looked down the hallway to see my babysitter leaning against the wall like one of the stereotypical cool guys do in movies. And I made eye contact, and I felt my body go cold because she was still sound asleep next to me in bed. I went under the blankets trying to hide, and when I looked back, she was gone. I didn't want to sound crazy, so I've never told anyone. I just sat in her bed watching infomercials until 6 a.m. when she woke up. Never even thought about sleeping there again. I honestly forget how much this affected me until I started writing this. Really freaked me out, man, since I never told anyone IDK if it belongs here, but no one in my family believes in ghosts. So if I were to tell them, I guarantee it'd be dismissed. I used to have a buddy that lived in the same neighborhood, a few streets over. One night, we were having a couple of beers in his backyard while playing cards. I had some things to do the next morning, so just before 10 I said my goodbyes and shoved off. It was a short walk, maybe 15 minutes door to door, so I never drove. Anyway, it was a nice night, uneventful trip. But when I got home, my roommate was coming out the front door, coffee in hand, and dressed for work. He gave me a funny look and said he thought I was asleep since my truck was in the driveway. I told him where I'd been and asked why he was going in to work at night. That's when he kind of laughed and asked if I was drunk. We stared at each other for a minute, and then he told me it was just after 5 in the morning and he was going in just like he usually did. In my entire life, I'd never felt more confused than I did in that moment. I could tell he was dead serious, but I knew I had just left my friend's house. I checked my phone, and sure enough, 5-something in the a.m. My roommate left for work. I paced circles in the living room for a bit, then called the friend whose house I just left. He groggily answered and confirmed I'd left at 10 the previous evening. I have no idea what happened during those 7 hours of my life, and it gives me chills to think about it all these years later. I wasn't drunk, I wasn't tired, no one could have slipped anything in either of the 2 Coors Lights. I'd had no known medical conditions that would have caused me to black out. And nothing has happened like it since. I just don't know what happened to that time. That's amazing. I have a similar but much milder story from when I was maybe 8. I was standing by the window in my bedroom watching the sky get darker before bed. Then before it got properly dark, it got lighter and lighter instead, and it was the next day. I really don't think I slept a full night standing upright at my bedroom window, and the transition from evening to morning was seamless. I was walking to class from the dining hall on my campus when I saw a lady yelling for help and banging on a window of a nearby building. Lots of people were walking past, but I was the only one who seemed to acknowledge it. I went to the window to help, and she told me she was locked in a room in the building and that she needed me to come in and open the door. Now, I have no idea the layout of this building and where she was located. So I decided to call campus security for help despite her pleading with me not to call them and to just let her out. I call them, and when I hear them coming, I go to greet them so I can take them to the window. I leave for maybe a maximum of 15 seconds, and when I return with campus security, she is gone. We can't see her at the window, and campus security goes inside to double check, and sure enough, there is no trace of her. Campus security definitely thought I was crazy, and I'm sure my professor thought I was full of shit when I explained to him why I was late. No one seems to believe me that this happened, but I swear it did. I am female. It is a very old campus with lots of random historic buildings that people don't really use, and this building was one of them. The area has a very high crime rate, so it probably was a robbery. I think maybe one explanation is that she was somewhere she wasn't supposed to be, and security arriving would have led to her being in trouble, so she hid or found another way out. Or, you know, aliens. Or ghosts.